Ooh, another flawless segue.
Yeah.
you just Did you just get impatient with your own intro music and hit it on double speed for?
You know what? It like is double speed, but I don't know why. It's double speed, and I don't know why.
Fuck this intro music. We got a show to run.
I'm checking all the channels.
Oh yeah, we got to make sure everything's working.
Looks like we're live on Twitch.
I got the notification.
Got something.
I just quick format though. I like a show where we talk over the intro music because I've been like kind of catching up on some live shows that I'll watch like after the fact, and it just sucks whenever you're just letting good lord. It sucks whenever you're just like letting your YouTube thing just play and it goes to the next video and you're like, oh god, this is gonna be 30 minutes of intro and countdown before I actually like get a new show. So put up the coming soon banner.
Not here. Not with
here.
Importance.
We're live right from the get-go, even though we give you nothing to look at. But trust me, the page you're seeing right now, viewers, is better than looking at our faces.
Oh shit, that's supposed to loop. There you go. There we go. We gotta loop it now.
Oh, well that's good. I mean, it was just
Can
static.
somebody else check the Twitch stream? It seems kind of choppy.
Fine.
Big surprise, right?
I think it is. I don't think it's my internet.
I mean, I'll have to download an app. Sounds like a pain in my ass. I would rather just find out later that we wasted 4 hours.
I can go check here just a sec.
I guess I can do it on my.
It said I need to update my app, so
That's what I normally do.
Seems okay on my end.
I'm on it, kid. Don't trouble your little head about it.
Now
I will
now that was
burden myself with the insanity of listening to everything in 30-second offset time.
Yeah, that was a smooth transition. I accidentally clicked through 3 incorrect scenes that I had to go through before I landed on this one. And one of them muted all of us. That was great.
I did see the mute.
Yeah. Woo! Good times.
Twitch seems fine from my end. All right, boys.
I don't know how to check YouTube. God, why am I an idiot?
If hypothetically, if there were a natural event that an act of God, if you will, hypothetically, if there were one of those that just affected like 40% of the country at one time, would that be too much information for our viewers to know about us?
Okay, I need you to go again. I was checking the YouTube, and it seemed like things were going well over there, but it made me unable to hear what you were saying. So
why don't you just Control Shift T? It'll open that tab back up, and with the time delay, you should be about right to hear me explain it the first time.
Smooth. I like that.
So my question is,
Yeah.
Is anybody here not comfortable talking about whether they do or do not live within a zone that was recently affected by a massive ice storm?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. Can we talk about the ice? Tell me your ice stories. Bob, you've been without power, I hear.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we lost power Sunday night at 10, and we got it back yesterday about 3 or 4 o'clock, something like that.
You're like on the same schedule as my mom. She lost it and got it back just about the same exact way.
Yeah.
And you guys don't live anywhere near each other. That's funny.
Your mom's house.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How did you live, and how many of your family members did you have to eat?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody just yet, but so the big concern when the power goes out here, because we live kind of not in the bottoms but close to them, is the basement flooding. So we have like a double, triple, quadruple backup fucking sump pump and all this, and
smart.
So
I have a basement that looks much leakier than yours, and I just have the one sump pump because I like to live on the edge.
Yeah. You like to edge. and so the battery backup got us through the night, and typically it's not too big of a deal.
You got one of those Elon battery back. Wait, just like a battery backup on your furnace, you're saying?
No, on the sump pump.
On the sump.
Yeah, so we've got like the main sump pump. We've got a sump pump that can add more pumping if there's a lot of inflow, and then we have a backup sump pump if the electricity goes out. And
these all down in that same hole.
All in the same hole. Yeah,
it's getting crowded down there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big hole. But anyway, so normally when the power goes out, it's it does fine for the few hours that we're out. But then, so my son said that he saw a transformer blow up, and I'm like, okay, that's probably something a little more involved.
Was it Bumblebee?
No. So it got us through to Monday morning, and I just got nervous, so I got up at like 6 o'clock and I went into town and got a generator. That was painful. Those fuckers are
wait.
Financially and mass.
You went and bought one?
You're capable of acquiring one.
That's crazy. Yeah, I thought that they'd be out of stock.
Well, I mean, I got up super early and just lucked out, and
you walked to the store uphill both ways.
You got that HD insider knowledge.
Well, with the HD, they didn't have. They had a truck there.
It's like, hey Tina, can you go check the back for me one more time?
Yeah, I ended up going to Lowe's and getting one, and so we got that all worked up. So we had the fridge, the freezer, the pump, and we had a little outlet for like charging devices and stuff, and then we have a wood burning stove, and so we was using that as our heat. So our heat was around like 65, so it was decent. I mean, if you were downstairs next to it, it was probably 75 degrees. But if upstairs,
you just got a fucking potbelly stove up in there just for fun, just for such a time as this.
Well, it came with the house, so we use it in times like this. So, or like if it's like super cold or something like that, we'll use it. Not all winter, but it kept us, nice and
from having to eat each other.
You had to, maybe had to have like a sweater on or something like that. But
nice.
So
that's amazing. Becky and we have a fireplace in our house, but like it's so poorly designed. Well, I mean, it's not poorly designed. It's just like a fireplace, right? But what it does is it vents all the hot air straight out of the house and pulls a negative section into the house. And so it's like you light a fire in that fucking thing and you can just feel the temperature in the house like equalizing to the outdoors. It is like bad how shitty it does. Yeah, and so it's like we when it gets really cold, every once in a while our furnace will just be like, no, it'd be a cool time to just not work.
Yeah.
And so we've like tried to use it to supplement a couple times over the years, and it's just like we just don't even bother anymore. At this point, it's been so long since I've used it, it's no longer safe to do so because I'm not gonna pay to have a chimney inspector come out and fucking make sure there's not a nest of squirrels up in there.
Yeah.
So man, I'm like,
next year.
I clearly God loves me more than he loves you. And because our power didn't go out, which is nice. Fucking
lucky,
which turned out to be like amazing. I was like, I kind of sort of thought I was prepared, but I was like, I really ought to probably go like pick up a kerosene heater. But surely they're like out of stock at this point. And so I just like haven't bothered to like do it. Plus, it's, as far as I can tell, they don't sell kerosene heaters and kerosene in the same place. So you have to go make 2 trips, and those 2 places where I would go get them are like, they're like a quarter mile away. So it's just way too much work to go get it.
Anything that ends in "ine" should work. So gasoline should be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sell that everywhere.
Meth, yeah.
Organic nomenclature, it means the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So my plan was I've got one propane powered space heater that's literally, it's not even powered by like, it can't connect to a propane tank.
Yeah.
It's like the bottles, the green bottles.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll run like
those for cooking.
It'll run like 4 or 5 hours on one of those bottles. So I have that and 2 bottles.
Is that safe to use inside? Isn't it burning something?
This particular one is, I think, supposed to be safe for the indoors.
Okay.
And if not, I'm like, oh, it's probably safer than fucking freezing to death. Because it's like if the power goes out, like the furnace doesn't work. We just have the shitty fireplace. And then like when it gets really cold, sometimes we've got a couple of those like oil radiator space heaters, but it's like, I can't use those if the power's not on.
Yeah.
So thankfully, because again, of how much God loves me, it stayed on my house so far.
Ken, did you lose power or is it bad where you're at?
We didn't lose any power. The kids were all school an extra 3.5 days.
Woo!
From break.
How'd that go?
Oh,
for you?
Fine. Yeah. I mean, it's just extended holiday break or winter break. They hadn't gone back yet, so it didn't disrupt anything really.
Oh, they hadn't gone back yet. Oh,
no, they were supposed to go back Monday. And it was like off, and then tomorrow it's a 2-hour delay.
Okay. Oh, they're off tomorrow here.
Are they?
Yeah.
It's still
we've got
nasty out.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
We've got one county worth of roads to clean up. So while it did take us a while, we don't quite have the Evansville or the Bevansville problem.
Well, I actually saw the city of Evansville get called out by name by like national weather reporting people as being like, the guy literally was like, okay, this storm's coming in. This was like before it actually came in. He was like, okay, now if you're in Evansville, Indiana, you are going to have a bad time. And it was like, it essentially was the epicenter of this shitstorm.
Were you there in 2009 when that one came through?
Yes,
any of you?
On my birthday. Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Somebody's going to dox me.
I would have. Yeah, that's your city and your birthday
one...
in in the same stream.
What's your mother's maiden name?
The house I grew up on.
First pet's name.
But how does this one stack up to that one? Because I was there in 2009, but I'm not.
Well, I didn't own a home in 2009, so that really changes the stakes of what you got going. So at that time, I was just like in a dorm.
Yeah.
And I remember there being like about this much ice on trees and stuff, but I was just fucking like walking around campus and playing disc golf and shit during that time. But I remember that it was on my birthday because my mom, who is normally very good at like giving, like she's really good at like surprise gifts. She was like, hey, I got a special surprise planned for your birthday. Just keep your calendar open, right? I'm like, okay, I trust you. You're good at surprises. You generally know what people like and don't like. And so this ice storm came through and just fucking shut the whole city down, like on my birthday or the day before my birthday or something. I don't remember. And my mom was like, all right, well, you know what? Like, do you just want me to tell you what I had planned? And I'm like, I guess. And she was like, I scheduled you for a massage. Which, like, no hate on people who enjoy massages.
With a Choreo lady.
No hate on people who enjoy massages, but, like, that is not my thing.
Bob, we just went back to live 1 week ago, or one week ago.
Already.
And we started that by going, I think we're all pretty used to like controlling ourselves and
we're media ready at this point.
Managing ourselves on stream.
Yeah.
And then the second stream, you do the thing that got Shane Gillis canceled.
Bob comes in with his eyes taped up.
I love an epicanthic fold. Sue me. Wasn't that one of your jokes?
Classic shelf importance.
Oh God.
Anyway, so my mom's like, "Hey, I scheduled you to do this massage," and I was like, "Fucking you! What in our history together makes you think I would want another person to touch me for that long?" And she was like, "Well, I mean, the thing is, I scheduled it with Debbie," and I'm like, "Excuse me, Debbie is a person that I am friends with, who is a massage therapist, but was literally like, Debbie might as well have been my aunt. Like she was just an older lady, my parents' age, that like I just really thought highly of when I was a teen." And I was like, you want me to go in a room with Debbie
and let her rub me up with oil
and get and get undressed to my level of comfort, which is none, and then have Debbie touch me for like an hour? What the fuck is wrong with you? But anyway, that's
I had my first massage a couple months ago. Very nice.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it?
Was it Debbie?
I don't think so.
Debbie's not with us anymore.
Was it your aunt?
Did she do did she do Dallas?
Oh, Debbie the Dallas kid. We're a little into the stream to be talking about audio, but is Bob really light for anyone else in the audio?
I feel like I am.
A little bit.
I just need to like. Do you like this?
Oh my God.
No.
Like the old days.
Somewhere in the middle would be so close.
We're back. We're back, baby. Bam, bam, bam. Bring back all the bad habits.
So up where I live, the snow. We've got a lot of snow. The ice is. We didn't get ice, but a city nearby just said we are not going to be plowing the side streets.
Yeah, fuck
so
'em.
all of the side streets are going to be covered in ice and black ice here in a few days.
Dude.
Because it's not getting warmer. So like the little bit it's going to melt during the day and get compacted by cars, it's going to be bad.
Dude, the side streets here literally have like a 4-inch differential between like the troughs where the ice is actually broken through and melted and the like rock hard ice from, and so it's just, like literally it feels like you're off-roading a fucking vehicle every like coming into my driveway. It's crazy.
Wow.
Because you can't
all of our side
anything
streets plowed.
It's
You have?
Wow.
Damn.
They've just
You
been
guys
out
are on
doing,
it.
they've been out for days just doing all of it.
You guys are on it.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Did you guys shovel your drives?
I did. We haven't driven yet, but I went in and shoveled it.
It is a risky and labor-intensive process in this part of the country. Because it's like, well, what we have right now is 3 inches of snow, 3/4 of an inch of ice, right? Another 2 inches of snow, and another like half an inch of ice on everything, right?
And are you guys getting snow Friday? We're supposed to get more snow.
That's
Friday.
what I hear.
Yeah, I haven't been watching it.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I hope.
Yeah,
Kind of hope I do, but I don't want to lose my electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would
I
be
was
cool.
gonna tell you guys could come up here, but that would require you to drive an hour on the interstate. And
That
that
would-
doesn't
I
seem
mean,
safe in that kind of
Probably
situation.
pretty safe at this point.
Again, it's
The
not.
interstate is.
If we didn't have the damn sump pump thing issue, we would have done that, Monday morning.
Yeah.
But it's just not being able to leave because of that. And so,
Were you afraid that
living
your
spaces
basement
down
was
there.
going to flood?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. That's why I went and got the generators. Just
So
really,
it,
just solely
it
because of
constantly
that.
has to be running, whether it's raining or not.
No. So if it's not raining, then it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
But if it's, like, especially when we get around like the rainy season and stuff like that, it'll run fairly often.
Okay.
But
So you probably got like a moisture barrier that has an exit pipe that goes into the sump pump. is what I have in my house. Like it's a trough that goes around the whole perimeter. So anything that does get in goes into that trough. Goes into a pipe, goes into the sump pump and then gets pumped out. So when it rains a lot, it's like there is a constant stream of water coming in from that, and then it has to be pumped out.
Yeah, we got that. We didn't have that initially when we bought the house, but we got that
Mine's not working.
like about 5 or 6 years ago, and it made it so that we could have like usable space down here, like all this shit and that sort of thing. So that's nice.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just like mold up the wall 5 inches, and it's only good for burying bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if it goes out and it is either been wet or is wet, it'll. I don't know. I've not experienced what happens if it goes out and we don't do anything about it, and I don't want to.
Probably gonna get real humid down there.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. It already gets steamy, am I right?
Hey, buddy.
I bet you could get like a bicycle powered water pump and then just plan to make your kids do it.
Yeah.
Like look man, power's out. Yeah, you got 8 hours on the bike.
Yep.
You should have got an A in math.
You'd still have the 8 hours, but then you'd also have an A.
Yeah.
Ooh,
boom, look at this.
What are we talking about, fellas?
Let's do this real quick. Let's go. Hold on. Hey, welcome to Shelf Importance, the comedy book club podcast that blends sensibility with vulgarity. I'm one of your hosts today.
And racial slurs. Don't forget those.
Kinsu. Yeah.
This is the comedy book club podcast that blends slur words with sensibility.
Yeah, we figure as long as we have a right-controlled country, we can't be canceled anymore. So
yeah,
all bets are off.
Dude. You didn't ask to make this a political show, and I know we're in the middle of an intro, but I cannot express to you how many fucking dipshits have been like, oh, well, I can call it Thanksgiving now. Trump won, baby. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? That's an actual thing that a person said to me.
I couldn't say. They said I can call it Thanksgiving now?
Yes.
I don't remember the war on. Did I miss the war on Thanksgiving?
You slept through it.
Yeah.
It preceded the war on Christmas.
You were so woke, you slept through it, Ken.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. They're out here thinking they can't. I've never even heard that from anyone. Don't say Thanksgiving.
Listen, man.
I mean,
reality doesn't matter anymore.
I think at some point, religious people were like, okay, what kind of dumb bullshit could an atheist attack us over?
Giving thanks.
Literally right? anything.
And then they're like, now let's say that happened to me on this. Like somebody attacked me for saying Thanksgiving because they don't want me to thank the Lord Jesus Christ. Right. And then they just like started their own thing. I think the war on Thanksgiving was the shadow boxing the whole time.
That's great.
Yeah.
I want to know what kind of malicious shit is going to be happening in the background that they're hiding with all of this let's make Canada join America bullshit.
I mean, just stealing all the money. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. Are they actually riling up their base to like make Canada a part of the U.S.? Because they just keep talking about it.
I think.
Are their followers yucking on that?
Look, we're not at all qualified to have a politics podcast, but I want to have one.
I don't.
Normally my policy is to keep my fucking mouth shut. So when the pogrom begins, I'm not on the list, right? But
that's a thumbs up for you guys.
That was the most perfectly timed thumbs up I've ever seen in my life. Normally I don't want to talk about it, but no, I think what's happening, I think you hit it on the head. What they're doing is flooding the zone with bullshit, right? Just to get people talking about what the right hand is doing. and then some other bullshit is going on the left hand.
And the left hand is puppeteering Mitch McConnell.
Hey, we're like, while you guys are talking about whether or not we're going to go to war with Denmark over Greenland, we're going to repeal Obergefell.
Yeah, so it's got to be something, right? All kinds of things.
So
yeah, it's added a bunch of deregulation, and I don't know. I just hope. Anyway,
regulatory.
Anyway, they've got my vote, and don't forget it. I have always been an America-loving patriot who owns several flags.
Yeah, I also love America. That's why I hate this administration. But here we go.
That's fair. Oh man, you're gonna make me Sophie's choice between you guys.
We have read Livesuit. This is the first Captives War novella. If you don't remember, we read Mercy of the Gods. That's the first book in the Captives War. I think so. It has, as it goes now, trilogy.
Yes, maybe a trilogy.
This is from James S.A. Corey,
the
famed authors for the Expanse series. Yeah, well, you're kind of the resident James S.A. Corey expert there, Yukon. You want to Stan? You're the James S.A. Corey simp. Why don't you expand on this a little bit?
Yeah. So, for those that don't know, James S.A. Corey is a duo of writers. See if I can remember their names off the top of my head.
James Slit and Asshole Corey. Did I nail it?
But they wrote nine novels in the Expanse series, and then I forget how many little novellas like this. But they had it's kind of their little formula in the time between the books. The main entries in their series, they do these little novellas, and they range from dozens of pages to 90 or so. Like this one, I think this one was about 90 or something like that. Maybe that was all matter in the book was 90.
That was Kindle pages.
Yeah. But I think this is only an ebook. You can't go to the store and buy this yet.
That's good, because my first take on it is I wouldn't, based on that cover. It's not very good.
So
that cover gets credits from Shutterstock in the book there. They are, by the way, Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank.
There we go. So with the Expanse, they did release a print edition of all the novellas when the last novella was written. Now, this one...
Oh, that'll save me a lot of time.
This series will not have 10 novellas. So I don't know if they're going to do that for this one. Like they said, this is going to be a 3-book series. We might get one more novella for this universe. So I don't know if they will print, 180-page book, or they could. I don't know.
So I didn't read all of the Expanse, and so I definitely didn't read any of the novellas. How did they use the novellas in the Expanse? Is it to whenever you come back and you read the next book, they happened to explain a little thing in the novella so that you don't come back and go, what the fuck is that?
No, it was really more like this, fleshing out the universe, adding little stories that while they're good and they do add to the overall story, it's not essential reading.
So an example is there's in the Expanse, they have what's called an Epstein drive, which is basically their hand wave. It's a really good
brain. What they call it in this one, the brain
slip.
Brain slip. Yeah.
So the Epstein drive is just a really efficient and powerful fusion reactor. So it's not doing any faster than light stuff. But in the Expanse, there's a novella that tells the story of the guy who invented the Epstein drive, and the story is basically
tragic.
He goes in it and he's all excited to test this new concept, and he powers it up, and it's way more powerful than he thought, and so it puts so much G-force on him that he can't reach up and push the stop button, and it literally is we basically have cheap Chinese there was supposed to be a dead man switch, but it didn't work because it was Chinese.
And it's way more efficient than he had planned it to be too. So it wasn't going to run out before he could pass out.
Yeah, so he goes off into the stars under too much G-force to like be able to move, and he eventually blacks out and is just like still going.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can take a telescope and see the original Epstein drive just like flying off into space.
That's awesome.
But at no point in the other 9 novels is that important to the story, other than it gives you a little background on why it's called the Epstein drive.
I gotcha. But I imagine it'll be something like, whenever, like in, let's say, Mercy of the Gods book 2, some Livesuit soldiers show up.
Yeah,
that'll mean a lot more to us.
Oh yes,
I think
absolutely.
All about the suits, how they work, and like the life that they go through, and that they could be. I mean, jump to the kind of the end here. They could just be mostly dead inside.
Right. Hence the ironic name, Livesuit.
Right.
But like for this one, I was under I had the misperception that really humanity was just dwindled down to Anjin. Okay. And this novella like blew that out of the water. Like we're talking about like tiny little settlements on some backwater planet that's 10 million people.
Before we get too far into the book, I want to say for our viewers, we're going to spoil this very quickly.
Oh,
because there is no short summary of the book that doesn't just like jump directly to the end. We already did kind of.
It just spoiled the end.
Yeah.
Well, not
but I just want to
all the way.
We'll get to a point where we're summarizing what we're talking about, I think. But I wanted to give a spoiler alert before we just go log in. So sorry, you kind of.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I read this book in the course of 2 nights. It is very, very quick read, very easy read.
Yeah, same here.
And very fun. It was action packed.
Oh yeah, and I was surprised. How I got to they got us to know the characters, the few characters that are in there, and then like when they had to part ways, I felt something. I was like, oh man, something's over.
I did spend most of the book or most of the experience being like, it really feels like he's putting way too many characters in here, because like I did not need, like by the time Simeon came along, I like did not need 4 more people whose names I needed to remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily,
especially because
they're
almost
right out of the gate, right?
Almost 100% of the characters are wearing full body face covering opaque face masks, and we never know anything at all about what they look like. There's literally one that's like one of the 40 characters in this book. It was like, and his suit was like a little more olive colored. But other than that, it's literally just like size differences is how they tell these people.
What was the deal with that? Was he like in a Greek Livesuit? Like, what was I supposed to take away from that? Just like olive skinned Livesuit.
He's vegan.
Yeah.
Very pissed on himself.
Yeah.
I assumed at the time that it was something to do with this person's rank within the military, but I did feel like there was kind of a lot of pieces that just like got dropped and never
I thought it was going to be like some sort of like spy or intruder or something like that. Like the Livesuit was like changes color when it gets, I don't know, infiltrated by something that's not.
It glows blue whenever.
Or something. Well, maybe not blue.
Well, it can be any color. They said at that one point.
Yes, they can change to any color. So my guess is it took maybe some kind of damage that hasn't been repaired yet.
You just got locked into olive green.
And yeah, it just is off.
I would have liked it more if there was like a cuttlefish style.
That's what it's like.
And it can change texture too, right?
Yeah.
Well,
cuttlefish is what they likened it to. So what are you saying there?
I don't know. I probably just forgot that part. But
okay, cool.
Well, they did mention our goat cuttlefish again. We got all the bangers were back, man. I forget the Carricks, the cuttlefish goat, the snake with pointy legs, and what's the monkey man?
The night drinkers.
No, those were the little bitty guys.
Oh no,
it's
the
guys who
great
were
Slothar.
The
is what we're
enforced
talking about.
the Lothar, yeah, it's soft
Yeah.
Lothar.
Soft Lothar.
Soft Lothar. The hard Lothar.
I'll tell you what,
It's
it was really I didn't realize how much I needed to see some of these enemies get killed.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting mowed down. Okay,
Because as soon as they started nailing some characters, I was like, "Oh, this feels good. I feel like we have a chance now." I didn't realize how hopeless I felt at the end of Mercy of the Gods.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Let's back up a little bit. I think for our viewers, and especially because we probably, I assume, have 400 people viewing this, but we didn't actually live cast the Captain's War series, right? So it's in a lost archive of podcast footage that we probably deleted. We switched platforms. So just real quick, I want to like set the setting up, and I think we'll tell it from the Captain's War context because it's actually fairly important. So the Captain's War, we have this weird situation where the characters are human, but they are on some foreign planet with a foreign biology. And as far as they know, like they don't know anything at all about their history. They don't know like where they came from other than just like one day we were like,
because they've been there
we were just here with humanity and a full retinue of Earth life. So it seems like, I kind of got the impression that they maybe were like a crashed Noah's Ark sort of situation, right?
So they've got to be carrying like an encyclopedia of DNA, right? Because in this book, in Livesuit, at the beginning, he talks about a sparrow flying by, and they're not on Earth,
right?
Like they just have to show up in a generation ship with an encyclopedia of DNA to populate the planets.
Yeah, but I think the relevant part of that was like, we got the impression that this is all of humanity that is known about.
Yes.
And sort of like a different technological timeline on a different planet, right?
Right.
And then boom, suddenly one day, space-time opens up and a bunch of aliens come in and enslave all of humanity. Just unbelievable violence. They have multiple species of aliens that like sort of make up their armies, right? They basically press ganged armies into service from all these other species. They take whatever species it is and put them to good use. And so this group of humans in the original Captain's War book, they get whisked off to this Carrick's homeland. They meet lots of aliens and they have to like figure out what the hell can we even do and how can we survive? And the Carrick's thing is like, you can survive by being useful. So like, here, make yourself useful. And they have all this crazy shit because it's culture they don't understand. And there's a whole bunch of exploration of that, right? But the Carrick's are the main bad guys, the main imperial giant cockroaches that are huge and have physical capabilities and are also probably super intelligent and have super advanced technology, and they've subjugated all these other species. So that's the setting that we knew about going into this. We immediately, right out of the gate, get this curveball thrown to us that like the characters are human.
In Livesuit.
Yeah. Yes, the characters are human. There is a network of humanity that seems to be spread across the stars. Like, he talks about like multiple and that
there's some kind of central galactic empire, right? Like they make reference to that there is like some command center. There's some governmental entity over all of this.
Yeah, and it wasn't clear. They didn't seem super surprised by the concept of aliens, as far as I could tell, but it also wasn't clear whether like the human colony expansion had run into other aliens before this war goes on. So, but they all seem to be like pretty advanced. And then the main driving force in this is they've got this super soldier technology where basically they like throw a bunch of nanotube goop on you, and it basically like frames your body. It's got access to drugs and it enhances your powers, right? It just makes people super strong, super fast. They don't have to eat. The Livesuit just like does everything. It just integrates with your body systems and it feeds you. It keeps you hydrated and just like
Takes
if
your
you
poop
get
out.
if you get poisoned, it takes the poison out. If you get injured, it like immediately fills in and just like gives you, kills the pain, integrates back in, and basically like you can just get a hole blown in you and the suit will just like fill it in. You keep fighting.
It feeds you, it hydrates you, removes all of your bodily wastes, and you don't need sex anymore. I don't know what if it's just like suppressing your libido or if it's taking care of stuff for you.
It seems to be suppressing your libido, but I think that was the least believable part of this whole thing is that human beings would do that.
That they would give that up?
That they would give that up, right? And because I feel like it just is asshole design at that point, because they could have made the suit so it just jerks you off once a day.
But listen, we also...
There was no reason for them to come after your pee parts.
It is, though, hard to fully put yourself into the, hey, we can travel throughout the universe. We are being squashed like bugs by an alien race we don't understand. What am I willing to do to try and stop that? Like, I'm sure that, people were like, I don't fucking care what the side effects are. Like, I want to stop this. Like, the main character here, he was like a medic. He was like an ambulance driver or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like in a committed relationship. And he decided, hey, I want the people I care about to be able to live a full life. So I'm going to go fight this enemy.
I found that very honorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a rationale I've ever heard anyone give for a war. Not directly.
Yeah.
I think that idea is kind of at the heart of why a lot of people go to war, to defend their homeland, their families, and whatever. But that was really elegant.
This story adds like a little twist on that because of like the time effect where they're in this brain slip, but BRANE, not BRAIN, and it's how they travel at close to light speed. And because they're at light speed, if they're in it for a year, then the people that they know their lives are going by much faster than time is for them. So we find out, like, our main character, the lady he cared about, she's dead by the end. And he's, like, aged a few years. And she's already lived a full life.
It's like a 10-year tour that they're 5 years into.
Yeah.
And his, wife has died of old age.
Yeah. And apparently gone rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So there's like some little seeds that they put in the story that I'm really I don't know how they're gonna touch on all this in 3 books, 2 more books, and a novella.
Yeah. On one note, I just want to say that's what they told him about his old girlfriend.
Right. True.
I think there's plausible reason to believe that may not be true.
It would be pretty easy to lie to a normal person about how time works at relative speeds. Like, if you're the government and you wanted to just have a super soldier for life, you'd be like, oh yeah, man, we got to do these physics things. And then the time is just going to, and everybody knows going to die. So you'll have no reason not to re-enlist.
Oh, yeah. So that would be a reason to say she's dead, is so that he doesn't have anything to go back to. Right?
If you were inclined to do a malicious lie about that, it would be a pretty easy malicious lie to pull off, I think.
Yeah. It feels like they're setting up, that they're... While we want to root for humanity in this story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes... They've been taken hostage and captive, and they're under the heel of an enemy. But I think they're also setting up that the human side is not perfect either. There seems to be a little bit of distrust in the human command center.
It's a little bit fascisty.
Yeah. There's the propaganda at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh my god, what a great fun twist.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like
so
it.
We'll jump back into a summary real quick.
Yep.
The Livesuit infantry, which is what these guys are, who guys and gals, and non-binary pals, I'm sure. The war that they're like enlisting to fight seems to be a war with the Carracks,
Right.
from the book. And what's interesting is they don't have any. They don't have words for it. Which
It also seems like they deployed. Just before I forget to say it, also seems like this group or this government also deployed the little micro
mosquitoes.
spy, the skeet agent or whatever that's inside of the people in the first book.
Do you think? So
Sorry,
do
what?
you think that that like? Hang on.
Do you want to continue? I just didn't want to forget
wait.
to talk about it. It felt pertinent there.
Can you remind me what the situation was with the goop in the first book?
It's like it's like it's like a virus or whatever. That is, its whole purpose is to. Well, you remember what it is, right? It gets inside the people and it takes
Right.
kind of like its whole purpose is to study and report back.
So you think that the Livesuit is also that?
It very well could be.
Yeah.
And it also because they did say in this book that like earlier versions and stuff they did deploy to like report back on the enemy.
Right.
I think it's either like iterative of the same technology, I think.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, so I'd say at the point, because of the time dilation stuff, I'd say at the point that the first book happened, the Livesuits weren't a thing yet.
And they actually did specifically say that there were in Livesuit, it says that like part of the military operation is that the humans had arranged for like highly trained infiltrators to like get captured by the Carracks to go.
Yeah.
And learn
Also they have the shared ability to control a dead host.
Right. They do.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
And I completely forgot about that whole thing in my both in my summary and in my actual memory. But
nice.
Part of the story in Captain's War was that there was like a thing that could just possess humans at will, and it could just kind of like body snatch a person, and it was doing that to get captured by the Carracks.
The swarm, right?
The swarm.
Yeah. So we were thinking in the first book that the swarm is its own separate alien race. And while it could be, now we think that maybe either it is working with humans or some faction of humans, or humans have found it and have co-opted it to make Livesuits and spies and stuff, or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of seeming a lot more like it's a symbiote, like Venom.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the image I get when I think about the swarm is kind of a Venom type of thing, but without the outside appearance, I guess.
Right. I'm now realizing
like...
it has a lot of the same characteristics, like its ability to change the shape and color of physical characteristics of the host and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so obvious when you lay it out like that.
And not being able to remember, like there was a conversation between, I forget, it's Kieran and Peter.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, remember we're gonna, and he said, finish it. There was like some saying they had. And Peter was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, oh yeah, now I remember. And there was something similar, and I forget the character names.
It was a weird movie that his like wife mentioned, and then he'd like
something
Silent horses.
Silent horses.
Yeah,
which
but like
yeah.
But I was saying, like, in the first book, Mercy of Gods, there was, I forget their names, but
else,
yeah, there was something in there. There was something that she didn't remember that kind of tipped off the other guy that something was up, and so now that kind of brings up the parallel idea between the Livesuit and the goop or whatever.
Right.
Makes sense now.
Now I want to get my copy of my book back. I lent it to my father-in-law. There was a chapter where the librarian, like the part of the story that was told from the villain's perspective.
Oh yeah.
Where he's like overseeing an attack on a planet, and they realize like mid-attack that the being, the organism that they are there to like eliminate or determine whether it's useful or not, that it was engineered by something, and they said it was like their enemy, the enemy that they're chasing. Now, that's why I was thinking that it was like the swarm was this other entity, but it could be that the whole time humans are the enemy, and that the humans engineered that life. Or
yeah, I've been trying to figure out what is going on with the timing between these two books.
Yeah.
Because in the Captives' War, the whole thing was that they would the Carracks would go find novel species, subjugate them, bring them back to the Carracks' homeworld, and find uses for them.
Yeah.
And humans got brought back to find a use for them. It seems like if the Carracks were in an active, ongoing war with the humans, that wouldn't have happened. They already would have had human captives, for one thing. And they probably would have just been like, oh, another planet of humans. We know what they're good for. Clap, clap, clap. And just smush all of them into tomato paste, right?
Pink mist.
Well, you know, they very well could have been lying, and there could be more human prisoners on that planet, because they don't know most of the prisoners. And by the time when they arrived on Angian, they were super efficient with taking them down.
Yeah.
And they were doing the same thing on the other human planets in this book.
But this was also like in Angian, it was like completely new. Like this was they seem to have no idea about other alien invasions, about either they were cut off from everyone else or the information just didn't get there fast enough. Yeah. I feel like this is all happening in the same generation of people. Like,
could be.
What's our guy's name in this book?
Kieran.
Like his lifetime. Well, which is hard. They're making this so hard to follow because like, time doesn't matter. Time...
That is true. The time, not mattering is really throwing a wrench in things.
Yeah. Because it feels like I think it would be reasonable to think that like Angian was the first attack on humanity.
Yeah.
And then there's been just like a long time since then.
Yeah.
Enough to like develop technologies and like start to have a war and have news of the war. I would say, decades.
Right.
Well, but on the flip side, if we're saying that the swarm is a human creation and possibly this other, what seems to be
no, you're right. It could have been happening elsewhere first.
Yeah. It could have been happening elsewhere. So that would put the timeline for the Angian story significantly after the start of the war. But then you have the question of like, okay, well, what is the genesis of Angian is like thousands of years ago. So it feels like you have a humanity that at some point took to the stars. I feel like the Angian's, the only thing I can think of that makes sense of Angian's early story is like an ark ship from human civilization that like loses power, gets lost, crash lands on Anjin, and then the cryo tubes open, and the first generation of humans on that have all had their memories wiped, and they step out into like a new Eden or whatever.
And they don't know how to talk to the rest of humanity.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't know what to do here. Y'all want to plant tobacco?
That could.
We got priorities. We need sparrows and tobacco.
And somehow they're also biologically compatible. Or not that they're compatible, but they're not toxic to one another.
Right.
Is also very shocking. Because there's two biological trees on Anjin. You have the human and all the shit they brought with them, squirrels and deer and tobacco and mushrooms and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you also have, they're just like, I don't know, nanosilicate life forms or whatever, just make up whatever alternate life possibility you have.
Yeah.
What's going on there? So I have no idea what's going on with the timeline, and I don't even think that brain slips are sufficient to explain it. But I also don't really get the brain slip rules.
Yeah, I don't either.
Well, because some of it could be answered by, we don't know how far away Anjin was from the Carrick's homeworld, okay, and how they traveled. So everyone that David and his team knew on Anjin could be dead by the time they get to the Carrick's homeworld. They were on that ship for weeks. If they were traveling at the speed of light, then, years could have passed by.
That seems likely. It's not.
Because I'm trying to figure out, if all this time is passing, how are our main characters, David is going to be key to this whole story. How is he going to remain relevant if this war has been going on for decades? It's been at least decades, right?
Only if we're right about the swarm thing. It could be the other way around, and it could be that David and the gang are
at towards the end of this whole war.
But it's still not clear where the other humans are coming from. The other humans maybe I don't know, maybe found the Carricks much later.
So back into the summary of the story. We have a character who is in a committed relationship. He decides one of his friends is going to join this battle against the aliens. He decides, hey, I'm going to leave my lady friend. I'm going to join the battle as well. And then they go through this training. They get given this suit, and then they fight these aliens across the universe. Key parts are that he gets injured in one of the operations. Something, he's going in the swamplands. Something bites his foot. Real bad. The cool thing about the suit is that... Did you already say this, Blake?
No.
Okay. The cool thing about the suit is that it compensates for the weakness. So he can still walk and run, but his foot is dead, and he just thinks to himself, I'll just get it regrown when I'm off, when my tour is up. One of his friend who got him into the service also takes an injury on one of these. And all he can do now is communicate by text. He's not typing. Somehow the suit types for him, which is interesting. If that is, it's obviously possible because I think he can send text messages too.
Right? I think there are really fast methods of text input that happen with gloves.
Okay.
Glove input.
All right. So his friend takes an injury to the head. And we don't think much of that. Okay, yeah, sure, he can't talk. But as the story goes on, he gets these medical scans, our main character, and he's like, oh, my foot is really, really dead. It's now my whole, from my thigh down. And then he has this suspicion. Now, I'm just jumping ahead to the end now.
Yeah, go for it.
He has the suspicion with his friend because his friend doesn't remember something as they're talking about, the end of their service. His friend came to him and said, hey, I'm going to re-enlist. I really want to see this fight through to the end. And the guy's like, okay. He's like, I don't think I am. and the guy's trying to convince him, and he just has this instinct to like, keep talking to the friend, but like switch places with him, let his friend get scanned by the machine. And as his friend gets scanned, he sees that there's nothing alive in his brain, except maybe like a little sliver of his jaw, like a bone is maybe still alive. And so he realizes
the rest is just filled in with suit.
The suit. So it's basically, he's a walking government propaganda for trying to get people to stay enlisted, because there really is nothing on the other side of being in this war.
Yeah, it made me wonder a couple things too. So you've got a section where characters were talking about what they're going to do when they're on shore leave, basically, right? And Corval, I think it was like, nah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Every time I've been on leave, I just ended up wasting all my money, and now I don't have anything to spend on anymore. I'd rather just stay out here. I'm like,
maybe he's dead too.
I'm like, is he dead too? And he's just like walking propaganda, and it's like, because the other character was like, I don't think these suits are ever supposed to come off. I think they lied to us. And I think that's what's happening is they slowly just die, and then they're like, hey man, I love, we got to keep fighting the fight, or every time, or to talk bad about taking leave, and like it wasn't all worth it for me, and that kind of stuff, right?
And there was that one guy that joined his crew at the end, and somebody warned him like, oh man, I had to mute him because he would just like talk forever. And so when he met the guy that was supposed to talk forever, he seemed like very level-headed, not joking, just like talking a reasonable amount.
Right.
And it's like,
and it turned out misremembering how, because he kept saying that this other guy, that Corval, who was like hated this dude. He was like, I think Corval really he used to laugh at my jokes.
Yeah.
So it's just like clearly misremembering the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which you don't see until later. Do you guys like to read books and like be trying to figure shit out? It's like, oh yeah, I know that there's something going on with this memory issue. I just can't figure out what it is.
Yeah,
because I just don't do that, and it makes me just really enjoy the books.
I'm going to show you something.
It's just part of what I think. I can't turn it off. It's just a part of what I think about as I read. And this one was great about it, because that ending just changed everything going backwards to the beginning of the book.
Oh yeah,
because my first thought on the chucklehead, bobblehead chucklefuck guy who never stops talking and always makes jokes. I was just like, oh well, he's been on 24 drops since then. It's just changed.
PTSD.
He's just not the same anymore. They're like, they're like addressing like, I don't know, like American military and veterans and stuff. And it's like, no, he's not. They're all fucking just dead in there.
And
they're all the swarm.
And his, the girl, Russ.
Yeah, Ross.
Yeah. So she did seem to still be human. Like they were still had a little bit of their flirtiness, but then she left without doing anything but giving a note, like, hey, reach me when we're on, when you're off duty, and the first beer's on me. So we might have still been alive too. Maybe they were slowly splitting apart the people who were alive.
But she also, I think, a little bit broke his heart, because he was like, they had a very significant relationship, and he was going around in person to all the other members of his crew that were leaving. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to go see her, but she wasn't there, and she had already left and left a note. So I would argue maybe what's going on is that like she's also part of the control thing. Like whoever's in charge of like moving these pawns around thinks, okay, well, like she's gonna be an anchor for him to want to leave. Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna have her do is like kind of be a bitch and like leave.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's all open to interpretation.
Yeah.
I guess.
So let's talk about the message from the former partner.
Silent Horses, yeah.
Mina, yeah. Mina. So Kieran did not remember the movie. He does not share that memory with her. Maybe he's dying already. Mm-hmm. But I thought maybe she was sending him a coded message.
I kind of did too. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what it was, but I mean, but I kind of got that feeling too that there was like something else behind it, because eventually that message got deleted altogether, right?
Right, but he watched the film, and there was a line that stuck out to him, and it was I think the end about how like
something about going home or something like that.
But we never do. Maybe she's telling him like you're not gonna be able to leave. Maybe that was the message.
Yeah, that probably makes a lot of sense there. Like, hey, we found, that's why she's anti-military now, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we found out that they put these suits on you and they just take you over and you'll eventually die inside of them and stay a soldier. You never get to come home.
Yeah.
Yeah, in hindsight, we really should have seen how nefarious it was when it's like, no, you're going to spend a decade on strict military censorship.
Right.
Man, I think you got Mina dead to rights, dude. As far as being anti-war because they took my loved one away, lied to him and said that like he was going to be doing a good thing, and now they're just zombifying him or whatever.
Yeah. And there was there was some story that made it to them that was also censored about how there was like a plague that broke out and a scientist that like rebelled and because of something that he saw, but whatever it was he was trying to say to people was censored. So maybe that was also part of.
Yeah.
So there's some unrest. Like people are not okay with how, even though it's like, hey, you got to end this alien invasion. They're killing billions and billions of people. But apparently the way that they're fighting it is so bad that there are people like, hey, whoa, let's not get that bad.
Well, it does kind of get to the point where you're like, so the live suits, I thought the whole idea of getting a person into a live suit in the first place was that like, well, yeah, persons are weak and squishy and filled with goo, but like you can't outmatch the computing capacity of the human brain and the native instinct and the like movement efficiency or what, like whatever, for whatever reason they needed a human core to drive this thing like a mech suit, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole reason that people were inside of them, and that it's not just a kick-ass robot, right?
Yeah.
But at the end, I think, I don't know, I'm clearly not qualified to punch holes in whatever tapestry they're trying to build here, because I don't know all the rules and all the author secrets and stuff.
Yeah.
But it does kind of seem like, hey guys, what the fuck? Like if you just blow Peter's head off completely and just replace it with goo with Black Swarm, why did you need to blow Peter's head off in the first place?
So yeah, I thought about that. What I was thinking is that the swarm. I'm just gonna keep calling it the swarm, but let's just say the suit. I justified it by thinking that it can perfectly replicate anything in the body, but it can't create it. So like it goes on the person, you lose some nerves, some skin, muscle, whatever, all of it. It can like seep in and replace it all as an exact replica, and which it can theoretically then also do to your brain.
So if this were the only technology that we had to fight against some alien species, would you be okay with human cloning and using the clones to fight in live suits?
I'm okay with it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, but I mean,
also,
just
I
so
would
that we
also
can put them in live suits to fight and die.
I would also wear a live suit. It sounds amazing.
I still don't think the live suit is that raw of a deal, man. I think it's pretty. Look, it's
full of drugs when you feel bad.
Right, you can
it's the
fight
helmet that bothers me.
I mean, it's fucking scary for sure, but like, if you're going to war, some percentage of your people are gonna be soldiers, and like, if you're one of the soldiers, that's fine. You've accepted. You're putting your life and your body on the line. Would you rather be basically invincible, or just a grunt fighting the same battle? Because the thing is, like, the live suit, there's a little bit of an insinuation that the live suit is like slowly taking over Kieran. Because it's like his leg actually gets injured like below the knee, and then like when he scans himself, it scans. It specifically says that it's like extended above the knee, so it's like, and he's like, oh, I don't know, maybe the flesh necrotized there. I don't know how shit works, but like ultimately the suit is eating him. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
Which is fucking wild.
So maybe it was gonna do it anyway, but the
thing
injuries
is,
help it
like,
happen faster.
I think it always was gonna do it, because that's the only reason at all that they would have helmets that can never open. Because they, if there's somebody dead inside, and like typically you would pop open your helmets whenever you're together for 3 weeks without a drop.
Right.
You'd pop your helmets off and talk to each other, but then if you're dead, why are you not taking your helmet off all of a sudden?
You think maybe you're dead?
he's
kind of right away.
He's a Amogus imposter.
Yeah.
Like, they don't question authority. They just do it. Like, there's almost there is no questioning anything really.
Yeah.
In any of the soldiers, they just do exactly what they're told. Do you think that maybe they're kind of dead and controlled right from the get-go?
Well, like, I guess what I'm saying is I don't think it, like, whether you're a super soldier or a regular soldier, you're going to be in the same situation with the same amount of danger or bodily harm. And, like, it's a better deal to give up some of your humanity in exchange for a body that can recover from having your head blown off.
Yeah, no, I'm into it.
Than it is to have your head blown off.
It'd be better to have a live suit in every situation.
I'm cool with the live suit. It's just like, you know what? Like, can you eat my brain last?
Right.
Or like only if necessary. That's all fine.
Eat the rest of me and just only not the brain.
Yeah. It's all going to hell anyway. What the hell do I want this sticky ass decaying body for?
Yeah. The live suit concept and technology is fucking awesome. These guys are great. I love the concept of just like a bunch of just mangled fucking zombie soldiers controlled basically by their living suits running around here fucking shit up. Dude, it's so amazing.
It made for such awesome fight scenes too, because they didn't have to pull any punches, because it's just bugs versus invincible super soldiers, and it's literally just like, oh yeah, like he had a piece of shrapnel that went all the way through his chest cavity,
and he kept going,
but he didn't care. He didn't even feel it.
That was
right.
Has his fucking like the whole bottom of his head blown off with a bullet, basically, and he literally is like, I'm severely injured, but I can keep going.
Yeah.
Fucking typing it out.
It makes me excited for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Like, I like the first book, but this like whole thing they're creating is pretty cool. It's a little too big to wrap the mind around right now. I need another book to like help lasso it and bring it in.
Well, I'll say this. I honestly, when we read Captain's War, I honestly was kind of like, this was a really good book, but something about the setting, it was just like, I don't like the setting very much. And I think having read a different perspective of the same setting, I enjoy it a lot more. I have a lot more appreciation for what they did and the choices they made and the creativity behind the kind of stuff that is going on.
Yeah.
Because I think they've got something cool planned.
I think the framing at the end of Mercy of Gods, we're not going to be on the Carrick's homeworld much of the next book. Like, it sounds like they are going to be sending our characters everywhere.
Yeah.
David might be, like, he's got to figure out how to make sure no human ever crosses the Carricks, or they're going to kill all the humans.
Yeah.
But,
don't piss them off.
And that makes me like, so in the deal that David makes, he's only getting protection for Anjin, I'm guessing, because they're clearly at war with the rest of humanity. Right? Like, at the end, he's like, you have people at home that you care about, and we can get rid of them. Like if anybody steps out of line, you are all dead, and that's all on you. You have to control everyone. But they're just indiscriminately killing every other human civilization that we know about. So he just has protection for Anjin, right? But that just depends on where this all falls in the timeline.
Right. Yeah. As far as we knew at the end of that book, there were no other humans in the picture. So I think we're just missing a huge thread about one, where these two stories happen in time.
Yeah.
And two, what their relationship between the humans is.
Yeah. Have you guys gone and looked on any websites to understand the story a little bit better, like people's theories and stuff or anything? I haven't done that yet.
I
looked at some really bad fan art of the live suits.
I will say,
one of the top results is just such a shitty sketch.
Oh,
and then you see the whole face of the person. I'm like, did you read this?
Have you seen the video game Crisis?
Yes.
Like, that's what I'm envisioning. Is one of those. It's kind of Master Chiefy, but like those.
I was gonna say I started mid-journeying a bunch of these.
Yeah.
To see how long it would take me to get a better cover, a better image than the book cover is.
Did you?
Turned out it was not long at all. You guys want to see some?
Let's see some.
Yeah.
All right. This is the first time trying this out, so let me see how this will work out.
Okay.
Let's try screen share. Select a tab. Maybe this one. Okay.
I will say I spent most of the book thinking about how this would make a terrible movie, just because. Yep, because every character basically looks like that.
Yeah.
It's
So the first thing I just typed
is a little horny.
Yeah, so I just typed Livesuit just to see what it would give me for the first four.
Okay.
And that was this one. This one.
Oh, that's pretty close to what I'm envisioning.
There you go.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And this one.
Right? That's dumb.
But then I started, they get better, significantly better after I start refining some results here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
That's kind of more like, what I had in mind.
That too.
Not
no,
that.
that's just Spider-Man.
It's just Spider-Man. A couple of them are just Spider-Man.
There, that kind of faceplate's what I'm thinking.
Master Chief.
Yeah, like that. There.
We'll get there.
There you go.
Damn.
Okay,
it's
now
so sparkly.
Now here it starts getting a lot better.
All right. Yeah.
You're gonna get a Halo character soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they start working in the fibers,
That's
which I think is really cool.
That's dope.
This is one of the coolest ones, I think.
Yeah.
That's good. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That right there is the better cover than what they had.
Yeah.
Not necessarily my favorite, but definitely mass market composition.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Nailing it, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I hate some of those. This is just a military guy. Where that came from.
There you go. Go back to that one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I hate the super sculpted breastplate abs.
Yeah.
It's so bad. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, that one was good. Yeah, we're getting very Master Chiefy in these last few, I think.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, that's Master Chief. That's ODST.
That was like a toy. Did you see that one? That looks like a toy.
Yeah.
I like that it says Livesuit on it now.
Well, I was going for a book covers here in the end here. Halo. I mean, Livesuit.
That is really, yeah.
Just a couple more here. Yeah, so I think the best ones are like, where are we at here?
I feel like when we have that level of integration,
like this kind of zone,
I feel like we won't really need to carry guns. I feel like the Livesuit technology could just like give you finger guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like an infinite ammo in your backpack.
I want to share that fan art real quick too. Just a sec. This is amazing. Oh, why is it so good?
I'm just gonna. Do you care if I share some stuff from Reddit? What people are thinking? Oh God!
Oh my God!
I don't think you could see inside.
I feel like a teenager jerked off to that.
Kieran,
that's fine.
What a man! What a man!
They did have like a big hump on their back, that held all the stuff they need.
They were just
crazy though. Like, they had like what days worth of oxygen in the suit or something, right?
Yeah, I guess they need less and less the more they just consume of their host body.
All right, so this is the most upvoted comment on this thread. There's a fairly strong consensus that Livesuit starts far earlier than Mercy of Gods, maybe thousands of years. Kieran's first drop when he meets the team, it says, the dropship was an old model, built before the war when soldiers were still fighting other humans. Militaries use old ships for decades, so I figure it started within a century, his perspective, before his birth. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Livesuit takes place before and during Mercy of Gods. The tactics and intel of the humans and Carrick seem to change significantly over time.
So everyone's as confused as we are.
There's just theories. There's no.
I can buy the thousands. Wait, the Livesuit happens thousands of years before Mercy of the Gods. Is that what that's what you said, right?
Yeah. I don't think Livesuit happens before Mercy of the Gods.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm not saying that I do think that's what they were going for, but I can buy it in the sense that it jives well with the. It's the one position that would unify the issue about Angine being like a Noah's Ark situation from human civilization thousands of years ago, but also that that the swarm might be Livesuit technology.
Okay, well, let me make sure that we might be saying a very similar thing. I want to make sure I understand that you're saying what you want to say. I think the war started well before the Mercy of Gods.
Yes.
I wouldn't say the Livesuit happened before Mercy of Gods.
Yes.
So I think this is a good point. Someone said, we know Mercy of Gods is the beginning of the end for the Carricks. This is stated by the Keeper Librarian in the first excerpt.
Yeah.
Another excerpt identified David as the one who's responsible for the Carricks' defeat. So Mercy of Gods is towards the end of the war. But then where does Livesuit land? There's evidence it's early on in the war, and there's evidence it's close to Mercy of Gods. With extreme time dilation of brain slip, it's possible that Livesuit began early to mid, but the events could extend into Mercy of Gods. And I can see that.
I'm thinking Livesuit started before.
Right.
Because and this is just purely looking at what I see as an evolution of the swarm or the Livesuit gaining some sort of autonomy, maybe, between Livesuit and Mercy of the Gods, to where, Livesuit, it was more controlled, kind of like, the idea of the AI in Terminator or Skynet. It's like it developed and then it became self-aware, whatever. Because I'm just wondering if Livesuit, it was developed, and then between Livesuit and Mercy of the Gods, it became self-aware, autonomous, something like that. And then, because Curiosity was really kind of something that was driving it, or am I getting that mixed up with Children of Time?
Yes,
I think you're mixing that up with Children of Time. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very easy to mix up. I was thinking that earlier, that like
they are.
They are so there's nothing that indicates one over the other, but you definitely get the sense that the authors have read Children of Time, and it feels like there's a lot of concept overlap.
Yeah. See, I think if the Livesuits existed before the events of Children of Time, then the big invasion event at Children of Time would have featured. I'm sorry, Mercy of Gods would have featured a Livesuit drop rescue mission, whereas it did not. It featured that book. That book just features the what we're thinking is the early iteration of just like the swarm spy, the intel gathering. So I think but I do think a lot somewhere in the time dilation, I feel like a fuck ton of time has passed.
Yeah.
In like somewhere in this war,
because they talk.
You've got the little swarm to gather information, but it's done all that. Like by the time we have Livesuits and shit, and now they're taking the war to the Carracks because of that.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about how the tactics have changed over time, and they were like, oh, when they found out that they were putting spies in the populations that they were, enslaving, they just started killing everything. And then they had to, like, change their tactics. So, like, maybe that could be an indication that Mercy of Gods kind of happened in the middle of this whole war thing. But it can't be in the middle. Because if David is...
The time dilation is why it can be. Right?
I think I got it figured out. It's the thing that is hanging me up is that there's no indication at all in Mercy of Gods that the Carracks recognize the humans.
Right.
So here's what I think is happening. The Carracks...
They seem to know a lot about them. They know how to feed them. They know how to...
Yeah,
they show up. They show up at the home world, and they've got apartments and like a crude understanding of what humans need.
Ready to shower and everything.
Yeah,
I agree, but I don't. I mean, like if the Carracks are who they are presented to be, they would have no need for any humans if they were already at war with humans. They wouldn't bother to bring them back. They would just either kill them or press them into their services intended use. So here's what I think happened. The Angine people, boom, like failed Ark mission thousands of years ago. Humanity lost a ship and forgot about it, right? And it just crash landed on Angine, and the rest was history, right? The Carracks have been at war with the other humans for thousands of years, and they are the first ones to figure out that there's a planet of humans out here. And because the Carracks are actually the good guys in the story, and I'll tell you why. The humans are these like vicious, they're zombie super soldiers, right? The Carracks are just minding their own business, defending their homeland or whatever, but they've been at war with these humans for a super long time. And the Carracks get wind of this human colony that's separated, and they say, just because they're humans doesn't mean that they are our enemies. And so the Carracks actually go to liberate the humans.
By killing an eighth of them, yes.
By killing an eighth of them. So they go and liberate the humans to bring them into galactic high society and give them a second chance at being more civilized than the other ones that have just been at war for thousands of years. So really...
Deciding the slavery kind of undermines your perspective a little, I think. But...
I'm going to stick with it. I think the Carracks are the good guys. That's my hot take.
All right. Okay. Here's
you guys are going to really eat crow when I'm right.
Here's my hot take. A little bit hot take expansion here. Okay, let's go back to potentially that the enemy of the Carracks that the Carracks mentions are not humans, but instead again is the swarm like we used to think.
Yeah,
and then we'll say then that because there is in Mercy of Gods there is a like that ambush planet they go to that the swarm was a part of that was not a human planet. Okay. So maybe we entertain the idea that the swarm is like their big enemy and has found humans to be the best host that they can be.
Yummy.
Partnered with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they have infiltrated high enough that they started initiating that as the Livesuit program, rather than just having to like sneak onto humans. Just like they just go up the ladder and then pass it, and then like that's
And
the
then
government and the military now.
So they're benefiting because they just get to slowly eat these hosts and make them yummy in my tummy.
Yeah, and it's like
yummy for my stomach.
Well, and it's the most capable and quickest, smartest, central computer that they can partner with no resistance.
Yeah,
we're fucking lining up for it.
Biocompatible.
So it's almost like we're military partners now in this war.
Yeah. Well, I like the mystery that it is frustrating to like, I want a timeline. And then they're just like, fuck you, timeline. You're not getting one. I don't know that we ever will. I don't think they're, in The Expanse, Blake, I don't know how far you made it, but they are never like super clear with exactly what has gone on. Like, it's pretty... If you sit down with a notebook and you like really try and understand exactly everything that's happened, it's just that some events are presented through other streams of consciousness that like don't use speech like we do. So like they just, I think they use that as a tool for their storytelling. And then this one, it's going to be this brain slip. Not really being able to get a good feel for, okay, how long has this been going on? When is all of this happening? I mean, from this character's perspective in this book, it's really frustrating for him because what they find out one time, like, oh man, we just lost 5 planets or something. Oh wait, that was an attack that happened 7 years ago. It's just that a radio signal just made it to us. So it's like, we get a share in the frustration of living through a galaxy-wide war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really pushed the limits on the time dilation physics to a point where it's like bordering on paradoxical how they're even talking about it. He's like, at one point he says like it's pointless to even ask the question of how long ago something was, because it's like, did it happen in the past or not? And that's like really all we can figure out because of the way that our time situation is working out.
And they have such an interesting way of working that into their stories to where it's just enough, but not enough to give you everything. Like the technology that they describe it just well enough, but not so that you can be like, oh, this is 100 years from now because the 35th generation of the Ford Taurus is out or something. Yeah. But they're just like, it's not a Ford Taurus, it's a vehicle.
It's a fusion reactor, and I will not elaborate further on how we made it so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll repeat this again. I'll never forget. I met I think it was Jeff
Bezos?
No,
Goldblum.
Edelstein. He's a board game designer.
Epstein?
No. Edelstein.
What an unfortunate.
I think that's his name. It's not Jeff. I think it's G.
Oh, it's Geoff?
Geoff.
Yeah.
It was such an obvious joke that two of us made it at the same time.
I'm going to look up so that I get this right.
And it's like, his name is the perfect amount of confusing to perfectly set up the joke every single time his name is mentioned by any human being.
He's probably like
what is his name? Is Jeff?
Jeff Engelstein.
Oh, I know Jeff Engelstein.
Yeah, Jeff Engelstein. So I met him at Gen Con back in like 2017. And he told me that he worked on the Expanse board game. So he got to talk to the authors. And they told him they were specifically vague. They were vague on purpose about how long it took to travel from point A in our solar system to point B. Because they said they knew nerds like us, or maybe more capable space nerds.
Like, well, actually, in the last episode, Mars was at the
Like-
3 o'clock position in its orbit, and now
Exactly.
it's going to be much closer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they didn't want someone to math out, well, that was impossible for them to make it from Mars to Earth in 3 months. So
Right.
they were purposefully vague about it. And they have to do the same thing again here because it's just impossible to tell a story like this. But I think
They're
it's
basically
realistic.
like, listen, it's longer than you think, and that's all we're going to say.
Yeah, I think Engelstein teaches game design at NYU.
Cool.
Oh, we're just doing an Engelstein Facts podcast now.
Yeah.
Says here, Engelstein's birthday is December 11th.
Oh, nice.
He's designed 27 board games.
And he's never been laid.
Ever. Because they're right here in his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys.
Some of the board game
Poor
girls
dude.
are freaky.
So that was our first book of the year. Woo!
Yay.
I think people get mad
Did it.
Poon for being famous board game designers.
Oh, yeah.
Like you go to Gen Con and people are just like, Bruno,
Oh.
here's
sure.
my room key.
He's like, I'm talking about Bruno.
So that was book 1 of the year.
Uh-huh.
Are we good to like talk schedule and like when we're gonna be able to meet? And I know what our next book is, so we can talk about it.
Yeah,
Nothing riles up the viewers like a schedule.
Shimpies.
Yeah, we got Whack-A-Moff coming up. Let's just stick with the
Yes.
proposed schedule we were going to do, right? Is that everybody good with that?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but
Let's see if I can bring it up real quick.
If it
What?
seems sensible, then I'm down. I got listen up, fellas. If you have Spotify Premium, this book is on there as an audiobook.
Which one? A Comoff?
Whack-a-mole.
What? Wipe the cum off.
Yep.
Oy vey.
So the next book we're reading, viewers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a crowd favorite. It's gonna be so much fur and feathers and hopefully slimy worms and fuck stuff. We are going to be reading A Court of Mist and Fury, which is book 2 in the flawless masterpiece of the English language that is the Court of Thorns and Roses. What the fuck is this shit called?
Mr.
Court of Thorns and Roses.
Court of
No,
Mist
Mr.
and
Fury.
Series. What's the whole series called?
Akatar.
A Court of Thorn and Roses
That's
I
the-
think that's the name of the series,
And the
right?
name
That's
of the fir- and the
that's
name
the
of the-
series,
and the first book.
and we're doing the second book, which we're shortening to ACOMOF,
A-
which is Whack-A-Moff, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I started it. I'm a few chapters in.
Ooh, you boys.
Um,
I'm already. I'm
Is it
done
hot?
with
It's-
the first.
we
my
do have
bowels are turning to water just thinking about it.
Oh,
it's
wild
so
ones I've read
it's
that.
so good so far. It's ripping my mind to shreds.
It's to shreds, you say.
To shreds.
Wow.
Now I pointed that out to Kate. She's on the last book right now. She's like, she said, "I wish you hadn't said that."
Ribbons.
Ribbons.
It's intolerable being so intolerable. But sometimes we have to share it with our loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So exciting.
Yeah. So you got a schedule there. I wasn't looking at.
So
I was
are we?
making notes.
We're gonna meet. Are we doing every 2 weeks? Is that what was gonna work for
We'll
people?
meet every 2 weeks. We broke it up into weekly reading just to keep you on schedule.
Mhm.
Here are the first 2 weeks, and this is what we'll be discussing for meeting 1. I'm
Fab.
going to stay on pace, read chapters 1 through 6 this coming week, and then the next week 7 through 15, or
I love, I
whatever.
love what you're doing there.
Or do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
God, I'm not your mom.
I'll tell you what they need to do. They need to diddle that subscribe button. Give that little bell a ding-a-ling, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, diddle shelf importance on YouTube and TikTok. Hey, we're also
for the next 12 days.
We're also on Twitch. We just think we don't have any fans there because we're not big-titted women in a hot tub or dipshit teenagers playing Fortnite.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah. And none of us are veterans playing Call of Duty. So like really we don't really shine on Twitch. But to be fair, we also don't shine on YouTube or TikTok. But you can change that. You can change it by following us, following at Shelf Importance. Yeah, if you become a Shimpy live on air, you'll get to see this.
Wow, that is very tasteful.
Bang, son.
Now, we do have an affiliate link for the listening books, don't we?
Do we have an affiliate link? Oh,
there you go.
Hey, if you visit https://audibletrial.com/shelf-importance, you get a free trial of Audible. And they have all kinds of things that we need to start saying if we want to really do that.
We gotta do legal.
Well, they want you to say things like, you get access to the entire catalog of over 13,000 titles for free. No matter if you continue your subscription or not, you get to keep what you downloaded during your free trial. It's yours forever. Yeah, it's great. It's actually a really great deal. I use Audible.
I use Audible, and I recommend the book.
I recommend the free trial. I started Audible with a free trial from a podcast, and I've been a subscriber like ever since. My wife and I download books monthly with our credit.
Oh.
I've listened to a shitload of books on there.
Damn, paying for that Blue Origin rocket fuel.
Yeah. The wife listens to them every week at work, so we get a lot out of it.
Wow, that's really great. I recommend the book A Court of Mist and Fury by a person whose name I don't remember.
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, let's see if I can change this up quick enough to make a difference.
Do you think if we had an actually big show,
here we go,
and you were an author and you got on a big book talk show, and the host was like, now here's a book by an author I didn't ever bother to remember her name. Do you think that would piss you off if you were the author? Because it's a good thing we don't have a popular show. Because I think
if you're bad side, I think if you're an author, you're mad if we talk about your book.
I would think so. I would think some authors I feel like the vampire book we just read, that author would probably have
Gilman, because we don't have shit to talk about him or Guy Gabriel.
I think he has a new book coming out again.
Damn, I just really forgot that was a Gilman joint.
Yeah.
He's got a what?
I think he has a new one coming out.
Sign me up.
He's like the shit in horror right now.
Love that fool.
What about Brom? We got a new Brom coming?
He deserves
I don't know about Brom.
If he's getting it.
I'll have to look for Brom. We've liked Brom. What? Krampus and Slewfoot?
Yeah.
A friend of mine just read Krampus, and then we had a lot to talk about, and how was the greatest world building of all time.
Oh, Brom actually has it.
That is now my actual Santa lore. This is my first Christmas believing that Santa is, in fact, the Norse god Baldur.
Baldur, nice.
And it really worked out for me.
Hell yeah. Brom actually has had a new release this past September called Evil in Me, a book about possession, damnation, and rock and roll, where one woman must get the world singing in order to save her soul.
Oh man, I hope he becomes a better Grady Hendrix. Just tries themed horror on everything, and I'll just read all of them. Give me some weird pictures to go with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read some more Grady Hendrix. The IKEA one was okay. That was him, right?
I think so, yeah.
My Best Friend's Exorcism was good, but one of them I didn't quite... Well, no, they were all good. How to Sell a Haunted House was all right. Okay, never mind.
What I really like about this new software, Ken, is that it seems to display the actual output on my screen.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm seeing?
It seems like it. I do the lower thirds and stuff, and you see it.
And it's so crazy that we had a Twitch streaming software that would display our 4 pictures in a different orientation on the stream than in our street.
Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes
That
it's
was
helpful
weird.
to be like, hey guys, honka honka, look, I'm squeezing Yukon's bazookas.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes there's fun side gags, and
I'm
just
gonna
for no reason we're like, let's
wee on
scramble
Bob's
it.
head.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, you can do that kind of stuff here. That's why Restream is the shit, and everything else fucking sucks.
It seems
fact.
okay, man.
That's a fact though so far, actually.
I mean, you're the guy who's using it, but man, it's nice when you have software that just makes your shit easy. Our production value has gone through the roof here.
Right. Exactly. Now, host, remember,
if we just get Bob a better mic, we'll be in good shape.
Host, remember, as I close out here, you remain for a moment.
Okay. I won't.
But we can say,
sayonara.
How's your
start with racism, end with racism.
It's not racism. That's how it's pronounced.
Keep
it's
it casual.
Not racism if it's true.
I don't know if that's true. Actually, we'll end with that. How's your racism?